You're watching the Manny Fraser Show, where men over 40 learn how to lose fat, build muscle, and dominate life without wasting time on BS. All right, let's get this thing started. Today is a recovery day. Guess the camera's not set up properly. Let's move around. All right, we got a recovery day. I'm in the middle of my 20-week prep for the nationals for powerlifting. So today's a kettlebell. I'll be going through a basic kettlebell complex. I've done a lot of videos on it. Today's approach more is just to record myself during it and kind of be mic'd up as I go through it. So this is what's known as a general band sequence. As I go through it, the main goal that I have is to loosen up any sort of joints. As a master lifter, there are a lot of aches and pains. Those aches and pains come up real quick. I'll catch you in a bit. All right, let's change up the angle here. So I'm gonna be warming up the hips on another general band sequence for the hips. With this, what you want to be able to do is you want to bring the band right up to the hip flexor. And then lunging forward with the opposite leg, pushing that knee forward. I'll do the same thing facing this way. So what's happening in the general band sequence? Think about hip and socket. All you're doing is you're moving socket, hip around socket, removing any sort of calcification or gunk that's built up in there. That a lot of gunk does get built up there, so that gunk kind of doesn't help you move. You feel stiff, you feel lethargic, so this kind of really helps with that. For me, this is just part of my warm-up routine. I'll show you what else is part of my warm-up routine. All right, in a second. The next sequence I'm going to go through is brought to you by ETA, Exercise Therapy Association, and this is the Bees Knees Knock Knee. So this is for specifically a drill for people that are knock knee. So for me, I'm gonna put that like a little graphic right here, knock knee person. But what you're gonna start off with is just a pretty much 45 degree, pushing hips forward. As you're doing this, you wanna make sure that you're squeezing through the back glute. So as you squeeze through the back glute, you're stretching out that hip flexor, right? So you're flexing the glute, which stretches out the hip flexor. The hip flexor is in a flexed position. Generally it's shortened, so you want to open it back up. You want to do 5 of these, 5 to 10. Then you want to come out here, 45 degree angle, just like this. I like this for my lower body. It really does warm up my muscle fibers. It also warms up my joints for movement. Like, the main idea of this is that I'm training movement patterns. So now you want to be Captain Morgan. It's just out like this. Or and then goalie pose. So tripod position just like this, and then dropping hips back. For this one, you're going to do roughly about 5 to 10 as well. Okay, and you're going to do a fire hydrant, the hip circle. So what you're doing is you're coming up like this, back, in, and around. And you're going to do 15 of those. You want to make sure that you're bracing the core as you're doing it, so there's not a lot to prevent any sort of wiggling or movement as you go along with this. I also like hip rocking, which is just like this. Kind of looks like this. They said this is in a quadruped position. This is a really good position for you to be in with your hips, because if you can sink into this position without your hips going down like this or tilting, you'll be able to get into anatomical squat position, which most people should be able to get into it. The problem is, now when I stand up, for me, you'll see, for me, is it my hips or it's my calf muscles? For me, it's my calf muscles. And so now in this position, my hips stay low, which is my power position. I can't drop them any lower. I would have to strip my calves from being so tight, so that way I can put myself into more of a dorsiflexion position. All right, we'll go on to the next side. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna do a basic ladder with an EMOM. And EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. I'm gonna do this for 10 minutes. I'm gonna go, I have a 60-pound kettlebell, so that's roughly about 27 kilos, 27.2. I'm outside, it's raining, whatever, I like it. So every minute on the minute, I'm gonna do 5 and then go up by 5, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and do another, then go down from 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. And main goal of this is just to work on my muscular endurance and just get a bit of, do something hard, okay? So enjoy. I'll probably be speeding this one up and slow down whenever I'm on like a little break. So we got 5 right coming in right now. All right, so strong or loose for this one. Should be fun. So I've never actually tried this one before. In terms of this movement, I've never tried to work my way in a ladder. I generally always do a lot of the same things when it comes to kettlebell. But I find to challenge yourself differently is always a good thing, and my goal is to challenge myself differently on my rest days. I spend so much time in this strength, powerlifting, lift heavy, and it's great. But the only issue with that is when you find yourself constantly lifting heavy, you're always in a place where you can have a lot of wear and tear. So my main goal is to kind of challenge myself in a different manner, doing something hard, and still having fun. All right, 10 now, let's go. All right, that was round 2. It was actually pretty easy, not gonna lie. But
a few moments later.
I hate the smell. All right, but I can imagine that where this will get more difficult, I can go heavier. So with this, your main goal is to add to the ladder. So I can continually go up in weight. So I can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I'm working up to 50 repetitions. For this, I'm not gonna do that. I'm starting it off, so I'll probably do that going into, like, continually do this as a regular thing, but I want to try different complexes as I continue. 15, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. So I'll go to the side for this one and kind of show you what I'm looking at for my kettlebell. I want to make sure I keep a vertical shin position. So a vertical shin kind of looks like this. And squeezing through my glutes, come up, right? Utilizing the velocity of my glute squeeze so it drives the ball up. All right, let's go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 'Sounds a bit harder. The 20. All right, so this will probably be the hardest ones. The back-to-back 25s. Not a lot of time to rest. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20. Ooh, I hurt the hands. All right. All right, we got 10 seconds. I'll go back to the facing this way. All right. You know what that hurt the most? My hands. That also hurt my heart. That sucked. Oh. Okay, so this part of the ladder sucks. All right. 20. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 8. Oh. All right, come on. 4. Thank God. That sucked. All right, 15. The only thing that's hurting is my hands. All right. Let's go. I hate the smell. All right. All right, I got 10, I think, 10-5. We're almost done. All right. Remember when I said this was easy? It's not. All right. 1, 2, 5. All right. All right, last one. This rep ladder sucks. All right, let's get 30 seconds. So, some things about the kettlebell you want to focus on is positioning. When you come up from here with the hip, where you want to aim for is somewhere between here to roughly about here. So, look like Manny. What about when I see people do kettlebell swings and they bring it all the way up to here? That's for a kettlebell sport. So CrossFit, the reason why I added that is so they can judge. All right, let's do this 5 and then I'll break that down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mother of pearl. All right, so one of the biggest things when it comes to kettlebell sport, utilizing CrossFit, is you added kettlebell games, right? So I'm here doing a kettlebell swing. And I'm bringing it like this, right? And I got my partner over here for my kettlebell swing like this. The reason why they added the where it needs to go is so that there's an even place where everyone was going. So in CrossFit, they give you come up to here because that's one. But for us old guys and non-CrossFitters and people that aren't competing in the kettlebell sport, anywhere between here to here is fine. So when it comes down to kettlebell swings, I'll break this down, which is the setup of the kettlebell swing. I do a hard style kettlebell, made popular by Pavel Tsatsouline. One day I'll meet that guy. I'll thank him for teaching me this. But until that day, I'm going to explain to you. With hard style, it's very strict. I like it coming from the system that I came from, and the system that I came from was the prison system. And everything was very strict when it came down to that. If you weren't doing your reps right. I remember I had a guy once, I was doing the leg press, and I'm pressing like 6, 7 plates, and I'm going half. And this big guy comes over to me and he's like, that's a lot of weight. I'm like, yeah. He's like, too bad you're pressing it halfway. My ego took a hit. At that point, I stripped it down and then brought myself all the way down and back up. Built it back up to 6 plates. He's like, now you're strong. So anyways, when it comes down to the kettlebell, here's how you set it up. You're gonna set it up like a hinge. So you wanna make sure the balls of your feet are touching the horn of the bell. I'll put like a thing right over here. You guys can see it up here. And you wanna make sure the bells of the feet, the ball right here is touching the horn of the bell. The horn is right here on the bell. So I'll also put a picture of that as well. And if you're looking at the hinge, technically you should be able to hinge back, pushing your hips back, reaching down, and then coming back up. So now from this point here in hardstyle, all you're doing is taking a step back from here, right? Hip hinge back, okay? 45 degree on the bell, so load the bell, and then hike, and then swing through, okay? That's the easiest way to do a kettlebell swing. And then you just keep on utilizing that velocity of the swing hips. And that's what you're trying to do with the bell, okay? Hips fully squeezed, glutes fully squeezed, hips fully extended, hips fully squeezed, glutes fully extended, okay? Anyways, that's for Mic'd Up with Manny. Hopefully you had fun, hopefully you learned something. Catch me on the next one. I'll be breaking down the deadlift and talking more about my setup and how I work on that. My goal is to create a community for men who want to learn how to lift and want to get results. I want to make this simple. Like I said, I didn't go to the best schools. I learned in the school of the hard knocks. That's how I learned. And my goal is to teach it to you guys. Anyways, peace. If this hit you hard like it should, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and watch the next video. Don't just get fit, get powerful.